Hello and welcome to Capital Market Live on Channels Television. I'm Will Ibong, and as always, let's check in on the markets. We begin with Europe, where markets closed higher on Friday as investors digested a key jobs report out of the US. The German DAX closed on Friday higher by 1.34%. The UK's FTSE 100 edged up 0.1%, while France's CAC 40 rose by 0.4%. New data out on Friday showed that the US economy added 372,000 jobs in June, lower than what was recorded in May, but well ahead of the 250,000 expected by economists. Now in Asia, Japan's stocks gave up most gains and the yen rose on Friday on news that former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was short while campaigning. The Nikkei 225 was up 0.1% and closed at 26,517.19 points. The Hang Seng Index in Hong Kong was up 0.12 in the final hour of trade. Mainland China markets reversed course to close lower. The Shanghai Composite shed 0.25% to close at 3,356.08 points. Now, the Nasdaq Composite rose in choppy trading on Friday in the U.S. as investors reacted to a stronger than expected jobs report that will likely keep the Federal Reserve on track for its aggressive rate hikes. The Nasdaq gained 0.1%, while the S&P 500 and Dow Jones Industrial Average closed slightly lower. Jobs increased by 372,000 in the month of June, better than the 250,000 Dow Jones estimate, and continuing what has been a strong year for job growth, according to data Friday from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. All three major averages finished up for the week, with reports due out from most major banks. Now back home at the domestic equities market, negative sentiments dominated trading activities as the all-share index dipped by about 0.53% week on week to close at 51,557.41 points. Particularly, we saw sell-offs in international breweries, Union Bank, FBN Holdings, FCMB, and NASCON, which led the weekly loss. Consequently, we saw month-to-date and year-to-date returns settling at 0.5% and 20.7% respectively. Likewise, activity levels were weaker than the prior week as trading volume and value declined by 39.0% week on week and 57.7% week on week. Sectoral performance was bearish following losses in all key indexes, but Academy Press topped the gainers chart for the week, while Alti Briscoe led the decliners. The three of GTCO, UBA, and Transnational Corporation PLC contributed 26.67% and 25.86% to the total volume and value traded in the week. Now, similarly, at the NASD OTC market, that's the unlisted securities exchange, the index closed the week negative. The NASD securities index fell by more than 0.03%. The exchange lost about 3 billion naira in value. However, we saw volume rose by more than 4,000% to 43.46 million units of shares traded, while value rose for the week also was up by over 1,700% to 637.85 million naira. City Trust Holdings led a pack of three other gainings, while NIPCO PLC and Friesland Campina Wamco Nigeria were the sore losers for the week. Meanwhile, City Trust Holdings and Friesland Campina Wamco Nigeria were among top 5 stocks traded by volume for the week. Meanwhile, also in the week, events that happened, delegates from the Ghana capital markets paid a visit to the Nigerian Exchange Group and participated in the closing gong ceremony on Tuesday, where a host of issues were discussed, ranging from Africa capital integration and others. On the issue of regional integration of the capital markets in Africa, the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission in Ghana says sub-regional integration must be tackled first before full integration. Let's take a listen.
Well, in terms of achieving integration across the African continent, what I would say is that one of the schools of thought has been to first address integration in the various sub-regions. So we have been focusing on the West Africa sub-region. So we have the West Africa Capital Market Integration Council, which is made up of the capital market operators, and then the West Africa Securities Regulators Association, that's the regulators. And we've been working together on ensuring that within the sub-region, that's West Africa, we achieve integration. And it will be easier to leverage on an integrated sub-region when we are looking at the African continent as a whole. There were 3 phases that the WACMIC WASRA effort identified. Phase 1, which is the sponsored access, that's where a broker trades through another broker in another jurisdiction. And the second phase is the sponsored qualified West Africa brokers phase, where a broker would be admitted as a trading participant. And then the third is the ultimate, which is the having one virtual or one integrated.
Now joining me to discuss this and more is Mr. Kofi Garba, CEO, APT Securities Limited. Good to speak to you, Mr. Garba.
I'm happy to be with you.
So from what we saw now, in your opinion, do you think that the West African capital market or the integration that is being talked about, the journey, how far do you think this journey is? Do you think we've made any significant progress?
Well, I cannot say that we have made much in view of the fact that it's very easy to integrate West African countries because the entire Francophone country, 9 of them, they have one market in Cote d'Ivoire. So the rest is the English-speaking country that have their individual. But the entire West Africa, if you have 9 countries in one market, so what make the remaining 3 or 4, 5 to join together? Ghana, Nigeria, and Guinea should just join with Cote d'Ivoire so that we get it faster and better. Because if more than half of our country, 9, are already in one market, so the rest of us should join together, even though you know Nigeria is the big in terms of size and the economy. But what we are saying that the integration should be faster than what we are expecting, because the other region in the Africa doesn't have what we have in West Africa.
Do you think that the challenges there, do you think that WASRA, that's the West Africa Securities Regulators, are leveraging technology to, fast track this? Because you're saying we should have joined.
Yes.
So what is the major challenge here?
What we are saying that is just the issue of regulation. Because somebody is talking of sponsoring a broker in another country to trade. In this technology, you can trade at your even bedroom. So you don't need a broker. Once you have the integrated market, you can buy and sell by yourself. Nigerians are trading in the London Stock Exchange and US Stock Exchange right from Nigeria. What stops us trading from the Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire? We should leverage on the technology to see that we accelerate this integration and just fine-tune all the necessary rules to make it faster and better, because we need to leverage among ourselves. If we look at it, we need better market, more depth, more in-depth market, and with a lot of varieties. They need us, we need them.
They need us, we need them, but
yes.
Are there frameworks that you would propose that maybe that would help to facilitate this?
First and foremost, we should try to leverage on the central security clearance system. Okay. It can integrate the whole market because it have the capacity and we have the capacity, and they can integrate it. That is the first piece. The second is technology. Let everybody embrace a minimum standard operation technology that enable his client to trade without any obstacle. Then fine-tune the rules. It's our one rule. We can make it, whatever seems to be an obstacle to us, we can do away with it. We need that integration because our market is really in depth. Today we are talking of the institutional investors that have over 15 trillion. And most of them, they invest in only corporate bond that give them a negative returns. So if they have the leverage of investing in the other territory, they will do it.
Now, speaking of investing and getting returns, the NGX has, outperformed itself in this first half of 2022 and has brought, great returns for investors, and maybe institutional investors will probably be looking at that. Well, but in the first half of 2022, the NGX, recorded a 5.64 trillion naira, profit, turnover.
Yes.
So, and it was ranked one of the best in the world. What's your take on that? Well,
you see, to me, I'm not surprised because we are in the market and we know today our market is full with professional investors, institutional investors who are well acquainted with the know-how of the market. And if you look at it today, you will see that over 80% of the transaction is done by the domestic, who understand the Nigerian trend. Irrespective of what is happening in the country, we are not fear, we are not deter. So therefore, we know that the future of the Nigeria is brighter and better than all these obstacles we are seeing along the line. And what we are seeing that because we understand our country, we don't have the fear that this country will be disintegrated or there will be no election. No, not at all. So since the majority of the investors are local investors, it makes the market more stable and comfortable. Unlike before, 50% of the players are the foreign investors. Small thing, they run away. If you downgrade the rating of Nigeria, tomorrow they will start selling at whatever ridiculous rate. And this what bring the market down. But now, the players of the foreign investors, they are playing less than 20%. So it's we that play the market, we that understand the market. And the beauty of it, 80% of the domestic investors are institutional investors, the FIFs.
So is it a secret behind why the NGX has done so well? Because when you look at other stocks in Africa and outside the world, they were in the negative for the first half of 2022. Only Nigeria was in the 20% range level for year-to-date return. So you see what's the difference? What makes us stand out from other equities?
What makes the difference is made of three things. First, we have the quoted companies. We have 6 quoted companies that control 70% of our market. And these are blue chip doing very well. So because of this, the institutional investors, they all qualify for institutional investors to invest into it. So they invest heavily. Secondly, there is inflation. Today we are talking about average 18%, and that is the National Board of Statistics rate. On me to you, we have an inflation that is higher than that. But take it as it is given that, let's say the official inflation is 18%. If you dare invest in any other investment unit, you will go with a negative return. The average return by the treasury bill, by the bond, by the money market, they are all in negative compared to 18%. So the only market that will give you leverage above that inflation is the equity market. And therefore, they have the capacity to invest, and they are investing. If you look at it, take for instance the telecom. Most of them, they gain about 50% in the first half year. And these are the 2 of them that control more than 45% of the market capitalization. You now add 2 cement industry, or 3. The 3 of them control at least another 30% of the market. And they are doing very well. And all of them gain, except one of them. So what we are saying that because of this, where the investors are investing, they are making money. And everybody is happy with what is going on because those who are investing, they know what they are doing and they are doing the right thing. Unlike before, when you see everybody fall into the capital market, those who know, those who don't know. And you begin to wonder that even an analyst cannot explain why a certain stock gained 100%. Because no fundamental, no information. But today, this is gone. A 20 kobo stock remains 20 kobo stock because nobody invests for it unless you come with an information that is good enough.
All that thought, Sir, Mr. Garba. We will take a quick break now, and when we return, the conversation continues. This is Capital Markets. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Capital Market Live on Channels Television. And before we went on a break, we were reviewing the NGX's performance for the first half of 2022. And Mr. Kofi Garba is still here with me. So, Mr. Kofi Garba, you were talking about some of the sectors that have been performing well in the country. To just wrap it up in a little bit.
Well, the truth of the matter, we are lucky to have telecom, which today control 18% of our gross domestic product, GDP. And really, it controls more than 45% of our market capitalization, and they are doing very well. And we are also hoping that we get more of fintechs into the market so that the market will reach their ultimate. The other issue is that we have manufacturing sectors that they are doing very well. They have identified our problem now. We are the net exporter rather than importer, the cement industry. They are doing very well, and not only in Nigeria, across Africa. And these in a country or in a continental that have deficiency in infrastructure, they need this kind of product. And therefore, we are ripping from that. The other thing is the financial sectors. Our banking are no longer Nigerian banks. They cut across Africa. And this will put Nigeria as a financial hub for the entire Africa. Because when you have your banks, both in Nigeria and across the other country, it makes life better and easier. So for whatever product you want to sell either in that country or here, is the financial sector that supports it. And I believe we're in the better position to do that. And this is reflected in the performance of the market, and it's reflected in their individual companies. And the most interesting thing is the pension fund. Nobody can take it. Today, our pension administration are managing over 15 trillion, more than the entire budget of the nation. And these are saved by the Nigerians, for the Nigerians. And therefore, they are willing to invest widely and invest professionally. And they are doing so. So all this reflect to show where we are going. And that gives confidence to the Nigerian economy, irrespective of what others say, that we come to stay because we have got it right now.
But we see that the NGX is also, I think, they're doing what they should be doing in terms of regulations when it comes to companies that are defaulting in, the filing of their financial statements and making shareholders, confident to invest. We saw that the NGX, the regulation lifted the suspension it placed on the trading shares of Adova after the company released its audited, its full-year audited 2021 results, and we also saw that it released the unaudited 2021 first quarter results. But what do you make of that event? Because you know that 9 other companies were, 8 other companies were also suspended from the NGX for default filing. What do you...
You see, before we have numbers of companies. Many of them are moribund. From year 2000 to date, over 120 companies were delisted from the Nigerian exchange. Still, our capitalization is rising. You better have the good and the better for the market, for everybody. Any company that is not willing and ready to adhere with the rules that have undersigned before coming to the market, let him go. So suspension for me is a welcome development. It is what we call information-driven market. We need information to price you. So if you don't give us the information, you have no business to remain in the market. So suspension is good, but we want them to do it for all. Because yes, you suspended 9, but we have somebody who is in this market. We have not even seen 2021 result, talk less of 2022, quarter 1 or quarter 2. And it's still trading. And no explanation was given by the regulator. So in such situation, when you suspend this, tell us why you did not suspend B.
So are you saying that the NGX is not being fair?
Well, even if it is fair, we want it to be fair for all. Because what we are saying, you suspend Ardova. Ardova is an oil company, but there is another oil company that have not released first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, even for the full year of 2021. It's still trading. And we have not seen Q1 and Q2 for 2022. It's still trading. Why was it not suspended? No explanation was given to it. And the investors and the market need to get such explanation so that they will make the regulator to be free from bias.
So are you saying now that, would you want to name this company that we're talking about?
Well, everybody knows it because in this market, we have seen the oil index. The highest growing index is the oil index. And what makes it to go to that level is Ondo. So it's the major player in the oil company, but they have not released 2021 from quarter 1 to quarter 4. Talk less of year ended 2021. We are in 2022. We have finished quarter 1 and quarter 2. We are yet to see any of these results. It's still trading. I can understand it's the most liquid stock and it's the most friendly stock in terms of trading by volume, by price appreciation. But we want it also to adhere by the rule because they have undersigned those conditions like any other one.
They just recently resolved their issues. That was last year with the SEC. So do you think that they've been given some form of, concession, not, for their...
They have not resolved. They don't have issue with the regulators. They have an issue with the client. And they have resolved the issue with that client. And the regulators say, okay, come. If you have no issue with that one, continue. But what we are saying, they were saying that because of that issue, delay them in releasing the result. Today we are in July. Are you telling me 2021 is not fully audited? And what of management account? You are free to release the management account. It will make the investors to make an informed decision. Rather than coming with the story that some minority shareholders went to the court and seeking for delisting. I begin to wonder. Over 120 companies were delisted from the exchange. None of them, the shareholder, the minority shareholder, ever go to court. Because that is not the way. The way to do it, the company has a pre-entry and pre-exit. Any company that decided or choose not to be listed, you can exit. But you can even reduce yourself to private company if you want to do.
There are reports that shareholders are a bit concerned about the listing because they feel it's not in their best interest. If a company is listed and they buy the shares and the next minute they're delisted, how does that,
you see, the truth of the matter is that one will begin to wonder. I told you over 120 company has been delisted. None of them, the shareholder, ever go to them because it's not for the interest of the market, the shareholders, to go to the court. If you go to the court, you obtain judgment today. I can appeal for that one. By the time it go to Court of Appeal, I can appeal to Supreme Court. So what you could have done in 1 year, it can take you the next 20 years, waiting for the decision of the court. Nobody go to court because you want to delist. We are here, we see, Dangote Flour Mill delisted, and the heaven did not fall, and the shareholder were happy. Nigerian Bottling Coca-Cola, Nigerian Bottling Company, delisted. 7 of delisted. I can name you many companies that have delisted. None of them have taken any shareholder to. They come with the shareholder and go to the regulator and abide by the rule, and everybody is happy. Give me the price that I deserve to, and let you go where you want to go. I'm telling you that 2021 result is not yet out. 2022, we have quarter 1, quarter 2 is not yet out. So why do you want to delist? Release the information. Let the market price you well. If you want to go, you go. Bond was sometime trading over 120 naira. At that time, they never intend to delist. Why should you delist when you are trading at 6 naira? So get the right price, delist it. Nobody say no. The market is free. It's free in, free out. As long as you want to be relevant, as long as you want to be relevant globally, you must be quoted. So
you're saying that Owando is not meeting the requirements for the listing at the moment?
No, what we are saying that is not the way. Nobody wait for the shareholder to ask him to delist. If you want to delist, they are free to delist. It's a free market to come in, to go out. But follow the rules.
Definitely.
Security and exchange have their rule. NGX have their rule. Go by those rules. It's better than going by court. I'm telling you, as you say, court give you a rule in your favor to delist. Tomorrow I appeal that judgment. What do? You have to wait until the Court of Appeal sit and listen to my case. By the time the Court of Appeal finish, that will take you many years.
Interesting.
And given that material time, you can decide to say, I'm going to appeal it to Supreme Court. So you and me know that if you do this, how long will it take out of
Mr. Garba.
So we don't need to do that.
Definitely have more time to talk about this in our next program. But right now, we'll just have to go. Mr. Kofi Garba, CEO, APT Securities Limited, thank you so much for joining us in the program and sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you.
And that's it on Capital Market. Do join us same time next week. I'm Willie Bong. Thanks for watching.